I don't know if you've been raised the way I've been raised. I've been raised with a heaven or hell consciousness. How many of you have been raised with a heaven or hell consciousness? I've been raised with a heaven. So when somebody dies, I don't know if you're like me, the first natural reaction in my mind is, I wonder where their soul is. Because the idea of heaven and hell has been stripped from the consciousness of the church with false teachings such as the gospel of inclusion and others who actually remove the idea of hell. The idea of hell is being assaulted even in the Christian church, not just the gospel, but also the idea of hell with false doctrines called once saved, always saved. I mean to tell you, once saved, always saved is a false doctrine. It's not once saved, always saved. It's once saved, stay saved. Stay saved. By doing what? By walking right. That's not legalism. That's holiness. Holiness is still right. Without holiness, nobody's going to see the Lord.
The Word of God says in Hebrews chapter 12, verse 14, "Follow peace with all men and holiness, without which no man shall see the Lord." This passage is often misunderstood and misused to assert that salvation is dependent upon our personal holiness and righteousness. Unfortunately, many people believe that they are holy enough and good enough to stand before God based on their own merit, their works, their own righteousness. First and foremost, notice what the verse does not say. The verse does not read, "Follow peace with all men and holiness, without which you will not see the Lord." You will not be saved. You will not go to heaven. But rather it says, "Follow peace with all men and holiness, without which no man shall see the Lord." The Word of God says in Ephesians chapter 4, verse 24, "And that ye put on the new man," notice this, "which after God is created in righteousness and" what? "True holiness." As we put on the new man, which again is created after God in righteousness and true holiness. If we make the decision daily to walk in the Spirit, inevitably, what will happen? Man will see the Lord in us. Don't miss that. As we walk in the Spirit, as we put on the new man, which is created after God in righteousness and true holiness, inevitably, man will see the Lord in us. If we fail to follow peace and holiness with all men, consequently, no man shall see the Lord. Titus chapter 3, verse 8 says, "This is a faithful saying, and these things I will that thou affirm constantly, that they which have believed in God might be careful to maintain good works." Why? "These things are good and profitable unto men." Matthew chapter 5, verse 16, Jesus said, "Let your light so shine before men that they may see your good works and glorify your Father which is in heaven." The way in which we live can positively impact both believers and unbelievers alike. Our pursuit of peace and holiness is profitable and beneficial unto others. Watch this. As fellow believers see the Lord in you, in me, this serves as an encouragement and exhortation to continue in the faith. As unbelievers see the Lord in you, in me, this can prompt and provoke a positive response towards God and the gospel. 1 Peter chapter 2, verse 12 says this, "Having your conversation or behavior honest among the Gentiles, that, whereas they speak against you as evildoers, they may by your good works, which they shall behold or see, glorify God in the day of visitation."